everyone. I've been watching a lot of like stalker videos lately, and I'm like, you know what? I have been stalked multiple times in my life, so I might as well start at the very beginning when I got stalked for the very first time, and it was with my first ever boyfriend. Okay, not ever, but like first, I guess, real boyfriend, if that makes sense. Like, my first actual boyfriend was like an online dating, so we dated off and on for 4 years. We met when I was like 12 on MSN chat, because that's how old I am. Is anybody old enough to remember MSN chat? And AOL, like AIM Messenger? But yeah, so I met him on there, and like, like we talked on the phone and everything, but like it never went past that. Like, and then when I was in junior high, I dated someone because he was super flirtatious. He would like touch my hand and smile at me. I don't know, it was kind of cute. We only dated for literally a week before he was already cheating on me, and it was with a friend of mine at the time. So I was like, wow, I'm betrayed. Double betrayal. But yeah, so, and we didn't do anything. Like, I didn't have my first kiss. We didn't hold hands or anything like that. So it was just like, yeah. So this boyfriend, like this boy that I'm about to talk about, this one was the one where I had my first kiss, and it was not good. And it was like my first, like, I guess, real relationship that lasted for like a month. So yeah, off to a great start. So, a bit of a backstory. At my high school, I think I was 17. At my school, we had this work program called CIWP, where students can get some work experience, and you make like very, very little money, but it's just like, Now, some students, they could actually leave the school and be taken to like a restaurant or a store to work at, while others had to just stay in school. And I was one of the unlucky ones that just had to stay in school. So that kind of sucked. And the first thing I did was cleaning the cafeteria. And I remember my mom was so mad. She's like, I did not have my daughter sign up to get work experience to be a freaking janitor. Let her do something else. And so I guess like my manager was like, oh, well, how about being a class assistant for a special education class? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I would love that, because when I was in junior high, I used to be a class assistant. Okay, so we had like a special education class where kids it's not like they were like dumb or anything. Like, they were really normal kids. It was just like they needed a little bit extra help learning, because they learn at a different level than everybody else. Kind of like me, basically. Me. But basically, like, there was that class, and then there was a class that was more like for the handicapped kids. So I was a class assistant for them, and I loved it there. Like, I loved all those kids, and those kids loved me. And I remember the teacher told me like I should be a special education teacher because I was really good at it, and I was like, oh, that would be kind of cute. I'm not a teacher. But yes, so I was pretty excited because I was like, oh, sure, I would love to be a class assistant for a special education class. It'd be really fun. And it'd be really easy because, like, none of those kids are, like, handicapped. Like I said, they just need a little bit of extra help with the schoolwork and, like, a different way of learning. And I love doing that stuff, so I did not mind it at all. And I was basically best friends with everybody in that class. However, the teacher there was awful. Like, she was good with them. Like, she was amazing with them. And she was so nice with them. But, like, literally me and, like, everybody else, she was super, super mean. Like, she was just, like, my very first day that I was, like, working there, and I'd never been in this classroom before, like, ever. And we were doing, like, an arts and crafts like thing with the other kids, and so we were putting everything away, and she has this thing where everybody needs to be quiet. No one's allowed to talk when they clean things up. And I get it, and the teacher's like across the room, so I couldn't really ask her, so I figured I asked one of my best friends, and I asked quietly. I was just like, hey, where do you put this stuff? And she didn't even have to say anything. She could have just pointed, and I would have like okay, cool, thanks. The teacher yelled at me, like, yelled at the top of her lungs. And I'm a very sensitive being. I cry over the stupidest things. Like, I don't like getting in trouble. I don't like when people are mad at me or upset with me in any way. Like, I'm just very sensitive. I don't like being in trouble. I don't like people getting mad at me or yelling at me. It gives me anxiety. So anytime I get yelled at, I cry. So I was like tearing up from getting screamed at by this teacher, especially in front of like the entire like class. I was like, okay, she's yelling at the class assistant. Like this is this is embarrassing as well. But I remember like my friend was so nice. Like she was like cracking jokes, and like after the whole quiet time was done, she was like cracking jokes with me, trying to cheer me up. So bless her. But yeah, there was only like a couple guys there, and of course I was close with them as well. And one of them was the one that wanted to date me for whatever reason. Now, I'm not the type of person to care about looks. Like, he wasn't like ugly or anything. Like, he wasn't the best looking guy ever. But like, he was average, like me, you know, average at best. But, you know, again, I don't fall in love with people because of their looks. I fall in love with their personalities. I fall in love with their soul. I fall in love with their hearts. And that's just how I've always been. Like, if you're good to me, then I'll be good to you. Like, looks is just a bonus. And even then, like, my perception of someone looking good is completely different. Like, other people, like, I've had ex-boyfriends say, like, that they thought they were super ugly, and they've had people tell them that they were ugly, and I'm like, and here I am being like, you're the most handsome thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, so my perception of, like, looks is, like, attractiveness is completely different than everybody else. So, you know, there's that. But, yeah, so like I said, he wasn't bad looking, and he was really, really sweet. So, like, you know, and like I said, I was best friends with everybody in that class. And my locker was like literally right outside the class door. And I remember he followed me, like, he walked me to my locker, and then he asked me out. And at first, like, a part of me wanted to say no for some reason. That was my intuition talking, screaming, no, red flags, get away. Nope, don't do it, don't do it. But I've always been a hopeless romantic, and I never really had like a relationship, like a nice relationship before. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll date you. My accent's coming out so bad in this video. I grew up in West Virginia. Give me a break. But yeah, and that's where this was too. This is in West Virginia. And this is like February to like March, so it was really cold and snowy up there as well. So we start dating, and like we, you know, hold hands, we walk down the hallways together, we hang out, you know. We never like went on an official date, but he has been to my apartment. Because yes, I even back then I lived in an apartment. It was a nice one though, so it was like 3 bedrooms because my brother used to live with us. And then after he graduated high school, he moved in with my dad across town. But since I was still in school, I continued to stay with my mom. And my mom not only worked a lot, but she also went out with her friends a lot at this time. So like, there were times where I would just never see her. Like, I would just be home alone all the time. I was basically like your typical anime characters where like their families like work overseas, so they basically have the place to themselves all the time. I was pretty much like that. So I was always home alone. I always had the place to myself. And so he would come over a lot, especially at night. Like, we would like just watch movies and cuddle on the couch and all that. And I remember being so mad because like I had my first kiss with them, but it was unexpected, and it was in the freaking hallway in school. I was like, well, there goes my perception of having a nice romantic first kiss, you know? Like, he probably, I don't know if he's already had his first kiss before, but I was pretty sad about it. And this might sound mean, but it was also really disgusting because he smoked. And I don't care if you smoke. If you smoke, whatever, you know, you do you. If it makes you happy, like, you know, just be careful, you know, watch for your health. I don't condone it, but like, you know, you do you, boo. Like, I don't care. But like, he must have smoked so much that like, it just, every time like we kiss, I literally felt like gagging. And I know that sounds awful, but like, I don't like the smell of cigarettes at all. Like, my dad used to smoke all the time. And so every time I was like at his house and he would smoke, I would just be like, oh, please stop, Dad. You're killing me. So yeah, but actually kissing him, it was just like, it was gross. So yeah, not romantic, and it was gross. So not even like a nice one. So there's that. Like I said, he would come over to my apartment a lot, and we would just watch movies. But here's the thing. Like I said, we've only dated for a month, so keep that in mind. So like, since the beginning, he was already talking about getting married and having sex. And I was like, dude, we are literally in high school. I am only 17 years old. calm down, slow down. Like, you're being a little creepy right now. It's like, no, I was so uncomfortable. And thank God, like, he was getting ready to leave and like walk back to his apartments. He lived like, he didn't live that close to me, but it was still like walking distance, so he could just walk home. And I remember like I was gonna walk him out, so I was like getting my shoes on. I was like sitting on the couch and bent over, putting on my shoes, and he stood up and he put his crouch in my face and started unzipping his pants. And I was like, what the actual heck, dude? Like, I was like, can you not, like, put that thing away? Like, no. What part of no do you not understand? I'm not ready to do any kind of sexual activity with you at all. No, I am not that kind of girl. Like, no. Not ready for it. Like, and I was already getting uncomfortable with him, like, when we were just, like, talking about it. And I was just, like, telling him, like, no, I'm not interested in that right now. We just started dating as well. And, you know, I was like, I was not interested in that just yet. And like I said, with him like doing that and like unzipping his pants, I was like, can you not? Like, what makes you think that's okay? Like, no means no. Okay, learn it. So so he finally leaves. And there's been a few times where like, because like after that I started to get more uncomfortable, because even like in school, like he would try to touch me in very inappropriate places, and I'd be like, no, stop. First of all, I don't want you touching me like that. Second, we are in school. There are students everywhere. There's teachers everywhere. Like, have self-control. What is wrong with you? And in my mind, I'm just like, what does he even see me? Like, I am not that. I mean, I'm not ugly. And even back then, I never saw myself as like a super ugly person. But like I said, I'm average at best. Like, I'm not the best looking. Like, there are so many more way more attractive girls, and it's like, why are you being like possessive and obsessed with me? And why are you trying to do these sexual innuendos with me? Like, stop. So yeah, I was already like getting super uncomfortable with him. And it got to the point where like I was starting to I wanted to avoid him in school entirely. Like, we used to hang out before school and like walk a little bit together after school, and like I wanted nothing to do with that. Like, now at my high school, we had this thing where you would only take 4 really long classes. Like, each class would last about an hour and a half or so. So like from the end of August, which is usually when we started school, to like January or something, we would have like our 4 classes. And then we would start the second semester, where we would have a new thing of 4 classes that we would take from like January to like May or June. So yeah, I could not wait till it was time to switch classes. And also, luckily, by the time all this was really starting to happen, I got really tired of being bullied by the teacher. So I ended up going to my manager and asking. I was like, can I literally do anything else? Like, I like being a class assistant. I love those kids. And I've been like, you know, they've turned into like my best friends and everything. But I just could not stand this teacher anymore. So I asked her if there was anything else I could do. And I ended up being a library assistant. And I was really excited because like I hung out in the library all the time. I was so close with the librarian. Like, her and I were like best friends. So I was really excited to work with her. And there was like another girl working with us too. She was like a grade above me, because I think I was a junior when all this was happening. I was like in 11th grade. So she was a senior, 12th grade. And she was like the sweetest girl in the entire world. Like, her and I became best friends, and it was really fun. Like, I would water plants, I would, you know, put books away. Like, I loved that. Honestly, I want to work in a library again, because it is just so much fun. I loved working there. So yeah, and thank God that I did all this because I can't imagine like seeing him in class every day, like in that class that I was a class assistant for, because holy crap, awkward. Because like I said, I was trying to avoid him. I know that's probably mean. I probably should have just broken up with him, or told him that I was getting, I mean, to be fair, I did tell him I was getting uncomfortable, and he still kept doing it. But at that point, I should have just broken up with him. But like, I'm very awkward. I'm socially awkward, and I don't like hurting people. I don't like breaking someone's heart. But yeah, I started to avoid him in school. And I remember like hanging out in my French class, like, because me and my friend, we were pretty close with the French teacher. And I remember in the morning, we were like, can we just hang out here, in the morning? She's like, yeah, I don't care. And yeah, and then like after school, my last class was upstairs. So he always waited for me at the bottom of the stairwell. And then that's when he would walk me to my locker and all that. So I would literally walk all the way down the hallway, take the other stairwell, and hurry up and speed past everyone in the hallway. And I would like see him at the bottom of the other steps, but I needed to go past that in order to get to my locker because there was literally no other way for me to get to my locker. And so I would just speed past and pray that he doesn't see me so I can hurry up and get to my locker and run home, basically. Because I lived really close to the school, so I just walked home and stuff. After that happened, like the incident at my apartment, like I didn't even want him around. So like he would come around at night and I'd be in the middle of like doing homework. Like I had so much homework to do all the time. And like he would bang. And like not like a simple knock. Like he would literally bang with all of his strength on my door and just stand there. And I'm like, okay, eventually he's gonna give up and walk home. And this is at night, so, and like I said, this is middle of winter, so there's snow everywhere. It's freezing. It's really cold. And it's like I figured, okay, he's gonna leave eventually. It's gonna be too cold. It's too cold to wait outside forever. He can't wait outside forever. But there are times where he would be out there for like 30 to 45 minutes, continuously banging on the door and looking up at my window. And I'm just like, I would have all the lights off too, just to look like as if I wasn't home, because he knew that sometimes I went to my dad's house if I needed to do like work on the computer, because we didn't have Wi-Fi at my mom's, so sometimes I would have to go to my dad's to do research for school and stuff. Or the fact that I was just busy because I had a lot of homework to do. Like I don't have time to hang out with you right now. Go home. But no, he just would just continuously bang on my door and just stand outside for a really long time. And I'm just like, dude, why? So yeah, that sucked. Like he would basically be out there until my mom came home, which luckily it was the time where she wasn't like coming home at 3 a.m. She would actually come home right after work. But yeah, she would come home, and this is a school night, and it's like almost midnight at this point, and he would still be out there. It's like, where's your parents at? Like, aren't they worried? Like, there's like kid is just out here in the cold by himself on a school night. Like, what the heck? And I remember like he kept saying that he wanted to see me for like even just a minute, and my mom would just be like, no, she's doing homework, you need to go home. And like she was actually getting mad because he still just would not leave. And yeah, like I know I probably could have answered the door and just told him, hey, I'm really busy with school, let's hang out another time. But I was afraid he was just gonna like barge right in. Like he was pretty strong. I'm just like this little 5'2" or 5'1" girl. Like I'm just this little girl basically, like, with no strength whatsoever. So I was just afraid that he was just gonna just barge right in and then boom, like God knows, so like I just wanted to avoid him. Like I said, I figured he would get the hint, and after a few knocks, if I don't answer, I figured he would just walk away. I didn't expect him to stand there for like 45 minutes until my mom came home from work and had to basically beg him to leave. Yeah. And I remember one time when I did finally like let him come over or whatever, I went, like, we were downstairs watching a movie, and I had to go upstairs to use the bathroom. And literally, it takes me 2 seconds to use the bathroom. Like, I'm so quick. And my stairs are really, really creaky and loud. And I remember, like, hearing him coming up the stairs. And I'm just like, what is he doing? And like I said, it takes me 2 seconds to use the bathroom. So keep that in mind. So I get out and I call for him. He doesn't answer me. And I saw my bedroom light was on. So I went to my bedroom and turned out, because like I said, there was no reason for him to go upstairs. Like it's just the bathroom, my mom's room, my room, and then my brother's old room. Like there's no reason for him to go up there at all. When I caught him in my bedroom, he was reading my freaking journal. So that was fun. And the thing is, it was a locked journal too. So he literally ripped it open. Like, I had this journal since I was like 12. Because ever since I was a kid, I used to love journaling and just writing, whether it was my own thoughts or stories, whatever. But I always had, and like when I was in sixth grade, I went to a brand new school. And so I was, really like anxious. So writing was like my outlet. It was, I was writing in a journal all the time, but I always had problems with kids like just constantly trying to read what I wrote. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I can't remember if it was my mom or my dad, but they got me like this little journal that had like a key on it, and the key's like separate, like, I would always keep the key somewhere safe. But yeah, it was always locked, so you couldn't get into it without a key. And I love that. I was like, yes, finally. And yeah, so he ended up just ripping that thing open, and he was in the middle of reading it. I was only in there for literally a couple seconds, and he managed to get upstairs, rip my journal open, and start reading. I was like, are you for real right now? And that was like a cute little journal too. It was like, are you serious right now? Like, what the heck? I was like, you need to get out. You need to leave. You need to go home. I'm mad. I'm so angry with you right now. Like, what? And like, he had like no excuses either. He just like said nothing. He was just like, oh, I was like, yeah, you were just what? Like, no, get out. And yeah, it just got to the point where like I was too uncomfortable. And I remember like, because I was avoiding him so much in school, my best friend was like, you need to just break up with him. Like, you've already been avoiding him. He's not taking the hint. Just break up with him. And I was like, I know I need to, and trust me, I want to, but it's just so awkward. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I'd rather do it in school than like at home when I'm alone. So I finally mustered up the courage. I called for him when we were in the hallway during our lunch break, and I broke up with him. And I did it real nicely. I just said, hey, I don't feel like this is gonna work out. I think we should just be friends. We'll always be friends and stuff, but I just don't think that we could be in a relationship anymore. And I said it real calm, real nice, and he was just like, okay, I understand. And then he walked away. I remember going to my friend and being like, well, that was easy. Like, that, he took it really well. Like, wow, I was shocked. And then I found out that he actually went to one of his friends, who was also my friend, in the cafeteria, and was like, that slut broke up with me. And I was like, oh, what? Who are you calling a slut? I'm a virgin, thank you very much. Like, what do you... And then he started spreading a rumor around school saying that I was pregnant with his baby. And I was like, you freaking SOB. Like, what? Like, okay, well, now we're not even freaking friends. Like, you are a piece of crap. Like, why would you do that? Just because I broke up with you, because you're a creepy mofo. So yeah, that was my experience. Luckily, like, I never got bullied because of that rumor, because literally I'm a child of God and I never get into trouble. I say that and I'm a Wiccan, so I'm a child of gods and goddesses, okay? I am a pure little angel, okay? I don't do anything wrong. I'm just a sweet, innocent little being, especially back then. People knew that, like, I don't lie. Like, if I say something, I mean it, like, literally. Like, I don't lie about anything like that. And so, like, they were like, it's fine. Like, we knew he was lying. We knew he was full of shit. So, like, you're good. I was like, thank God, because I didn't want people to, like, stare at me. But anyways, that's my story on my first real relationship with a stalker, with a creeper. So, that's how my relationship started. So, yeah. If you guys have, like, really creepy experiences with, like, exes and you would like to share them in the comments, please do. I would love to read your experiences if you wish to share them. Note to self, be careful who you date. Don't just date out on the whim just because you're lonely. Take some time to get to know them, become best friends with them, see how they really are before you get into a relationship, because trust me, I did not stop doing that. I kept rushing into relationships, and that's why almost all of my relationships have been toxic and abusive. So that's where I'm at in life. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this has been a lesson to be learned. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Take care of yourselves and be safe out there. And bye-bye. prepare for some more stalker stories because I have plenty of them to share. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I love